everybody. It is once again time for the voice of Camp Nathanael here March the 1st, 2025. Stephen Bell coming at you from the campus of Camp Nathanael in Emelita, Kentucky. And with me as always, man, I've got it. Oh, this may be the best word I've ever found.
When you were right before we started,
it may be the best one.
Right before we started recording, Steven said, "Let's do our little intro now." That was how he describes this section of the podcast. So, all right, what amazing thing do you have?
I have to kind of brace myself because I want to say this correctly, and it's going to take a little bit of brain power from me. So, again, my name is Stephen Bell, and with me, as always, is the Komodo conquising. Waiting for it.
This is Lee Sharp.
Yeah! Komodo conquising.
Komodo conquising.
I think so.
Does this involve...
Or it might be Quomodo conquising. I looked up a YouTube video on how to pronounce this correctly.
Komodo,
all right?
Why does
Not Komodo. That's,
like
that's what you wear over in Asia. All right?
No. I'm talking...
Quomodo conquising.
I'm hearing like Komodo dragon. Like the big lizard.
Nope, nowhere close, man.
You don't want to play with because they're big and dangerous.
No, I'm going to read to you everything I know about this word right now, okay? All right, here's one that doesn't just roll off the tongue. Said to mean that which makes money in a possible way. I don't even know what that definition means. Said to make money in a not in a possible way, in any possible way.
Any possible way.
That makes so much more sense. Wow. It says that this word was used exactly once back in like the 17th century.
There's one guy.
I don't know.
There's one guy who's willing to make money. And at Camp Nathanael, we do not make money in any way.
No, not in any possible way. Absolutely not.
We have standards.
That's right. But here's the funniest fact about this word. Today, Quomodo conquising is mostly found in lists on the internet of strange words in English. Hence how I found it.
How you found it. You're just looking up weird words.
Oh my goodness, man. We've been doing this for 2 years now.
We have.
We had a birthday episode a couple of weeks ago. We talked to Nathan Keeney here on our last episode, and we've got another guest in the studio with us today. Do we not?
We do.
Thankfully, they can save us from our intro and we segue on over. We're talking to one of Camp Nathanael's newest interns today, but not newest persons because she's got some history here. Ellie Franklin, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Awesome.
Glad to be here.
See?
I always heard about these and wanted to come on here.
Look at that. See, people hear about us, Lee.
Yeah.
They want to hang out with us, man. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread,
Am
right?
I finally one of the cool kids?
You're one of the cool kids, man. Welcome to the cool table.
Oh, man.
All right. Sorry, I had to take a swig of my drink there.
It only took a few.
Woo. Man, it's we're talking about we're talking to Ellie, talking about what it's like to be a Camp Nathanael intern here. And she just started this last month. 2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah.
So started this in January. And I'm excited to hear from Ellie today. So Lee's got some questions he's going to guide us through.
So we're going to start off with a little bit of the history.
Okay, interrogate me.
The history of Ellie Franklin. Where
Sounds like an A&E special. Doesn't it?
Ellie, where did you grow up?
Well, I just grew up a mile away from camp. Could walk here if I wanted to.
Did you ever?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I kind of figured so. I can't. I just don't want to now.
I always go through our neighbor's yard and cut across, so it's like safer. That's a long walk, you know.
Nice. So she grew up just a stone's throw away from Camp Nathanael, and I mean, was your family living here when you were born?
No. My parents moved here when I was like 5-6 months old.
Okay.
So they're hitting 28 years.
Wow. And you are the youngest of 6.
Yes.
In your family. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. The Franklins there. And if you're or unfamiliar, it's Rick and Kathy Franklin.
Yes.
Are the parents that we're talking about here.
They've been at the cool table multiple times
they
already.
Have, yes.
Yes, I think I was living here when they did it last. Yeah.
This is from now on known as the cool table. All right. We got to go with that, man.
The cool table's a little... The table that we record the podcast on, guys, is a fold-up table. And
it's an old school 500-pound wooden table.
It looks like paint has been spilled on it a couple of times and probably thrown down a set of stairs.
It's not the table that makes it the cool table, Lee. Oh, so we were talking. So
go ahead and sit around it now. Okay.
This is already my favorite episode ever. Oh my goodness! All right, let's keep this rolling here. Here we go.
So Ellie, you grew up a mile down the road. Your parents worked here at camp, so that makes you have a special term.
Mission kid.
Mission
MK.
MK, man.
Yeah.
Mission kid.
Yep. And I'm also a PK.
Oh, that's true, man. She's an MK and a PK.
Both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. My kids were like that for a little bit, but not simultaneously.
Preacher,
but they can be labeled as both.
They can. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Preacher's kid. If you're not keeping up with the acronyms,
Oh
there.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably
clarify.
define our terms.
I mean, we did tell people what Komodo, whatever that was. I mean,
We're defining other weird words. We might as well.
So we should at least let them know what our abbreviations are. Wow. So yeah, your dad, pastor at Rockport Bible Church. You grew up here as a mission kid. I mean, what are I don't know. Just throwing this out there. Growing up at camp, what are some of your fondest memories as far as a child growing up at camp here as a mission kid?
I think the apple orchard. There used to be an apple orchard.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was like 8 trees there.
Wow.
And since we were homeschooled, we would go and try to get as many apples as possible.
Yeah.
And then we'd play get our brooms and get the rotten apples and play baseball with that. That was so much fun. And then we'd go in the pool when it was still open in August.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, with the 6 of us, it was a lot of fun. That was
awesome.
Fondest memory. But it was just fun, playing in the creek. We have so many forts. We had
oh yeah,
all over camp. I can still point out all the different forts, different ages we had. And
nice.
Yeah. So
the next question that I've got is testimony. When did Jesus get a hold of you?
it started when I was 7.
Okay.
On February 2nd, Groundhog's Day.
She knows the exact day.
I do know the exact day because we got a half day on Groundhog's Day.
When you can tie back your salvation to Groundhog's Day, I mean, not many people can do that. I don't think.
Can you name the exact day?
I just know it was in October or November of 92 for me. It was right before my birthday. I do remember that. Okay. But the exact date, no, I can't say that.
See, I have a range to where I'm I don't know. I was 8 or 9.
Yeah. That's impressive though. Go ahead. Go on.
Yeah. So actually, I being a mission kid and a preacher's kid. I always heard the stories. I just thought they were another fairy tale story. But that night, I shared a room with my sister, and she was doing her quiet time, and she started sharing with me. And I was just happy that I could play with my Barbie dolls. And she started asking me questions. I don't remember the questions. I wasn't paying attention. And she was just I was like, Alana, I'm not listening to you. You can be quiet now. And she's like, well, aren't you afraid you're going to go to hell? And I'm like, wait, what? And she panicked. And I'm like, Alana, what do I do? And she's like, go downstairs and talk to mom. But then that night was the realization oh, this isn't a fairy tale.
Yeah.
This is real life. And so that night I got saved. Realized that I am a sinner. And then around 11 or 12, that's when I was just I want to I was when I think I got baptized then, and I was I just want to live this out in my life. And
that when your faith became your own.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah. For sure.
And then I worked every summer. I think 5 summers. I was just in the other office, and I was looking at all all 5 years, or the first 5 years that are up there on the wall with all the staff up there, reminiscing with that. So I want to get away and travel like my siblings did. So I decided to go to school at Word of Life Bible Institute.
Gotcha.
And learn more about the Bible. Did that for 2 years and was hoping, I don't know, be close to my family. And I did that for 4 years. And then kind of like COVID brought me back.
Okay.
And that's when I realized like camp is so different from any other camp I've ever experienced. And it's unique. It's not just a church. It's not church camp. It's, the kids in the community. And that's when I was like 2020 COVID. I was like, I think this is where the Lord's leading me. And then spent 4 years in Cedarville, Ohio. And and then God started closing doors there. And I was like, okay, I think it's time. I was like, I'm going to start with the internship, see how that goes, see the ministry. Because I've never seen like some aspects. I've only seen like summer camp and the retreats. So I wanted to.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff now too.
Yeah,
so, I mean, a lot of new programs going on throughout the year that weren't even a thing even 5 years ago.
And to explain some of the difference here, and because talking about how summer camp or Camp Nathanael is a little bit different than just a typical church camp. I know our people that are listening to our podcast, some of them are very familiar with Camp Nathanael, and some of them, this may be the first thing that they're hearing about Camp Nathanael. And so something to just add in here to your story, I'm just going to throw it in there, is that when we're doing summer camp, the kids that end up coming here to camp, some of them grew up in the church. They know every Bible verse. They've got it all down. They're church kids. They're there every time the door is open. They are familiar with all the other things. And there are other kids that come that have never set foot in a church in their life. And when they come to camp, those two kids it's almost like one of them's on the top bunk and one's on the bottom. Like they're in the same bunk, in the same cabin, coming to experience Camp Nathanael with the devotions and the fires at night and the games and all the different things that are going on. And it creates a very interesting dynamic to camp, because it's not just, oh, well, these are some kids who grew up going to church and they're looking to just deepen their faith. And there are some kids, and that is important, and that's good, and that's wonderful. But there are some kids that they haven't even started the journey yet. They haven't even made it to the starting line. And for some kids, this is their introduction. And so,
yeah, and even going like to public schools as a Christian kid in this like secular world, like it's not easy. But then like if you're with other kids, camp kids, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah,
when you go back to school.
And a lot of kids, when they come to camp, they make friends who, there are so many stories, thousands upon thousands of stories of kids and adults and grandparents now that are best friends that met while hanging out at camp.
Yeah,
going to swim in the pool, to go ride horses, or to do.
Even my kids right now, they're at that broad age group. I got a couple that come to high school camp, a couple that'll be in middle school camp. I've got one that'll be in grade school camp. All that's happening this coming summer, and they already have made these connections with kids who they have relationships with that they most likely aren't probably going to see for a year at a time. But it's really cool just to see that that relationship take place once they get back on campgrounds.
So, you came back.
Yes, I came back.
You came back to do the internship here. What was that process like? Like, was it something that like somebody introduced to you? Did they say, "Hey, you should try and come back for this internship," or where did you hear about it? I'm curious now.
Well, I knew some of the interns last year.
Okay.
And then like my parents were talking about it. And then it was around this year that like a lot of the doors in Cedarville, Ohio were closing.
Okay.
And I was driving back to Kentucky to hang out with my parents. And a year ago, like February, like it was And just like when I drive, I have those just the moments with God, you know? And it was kind of like, oh, like these are doors closing. Is it plausible for me to start heading in that direction of joining camp? And I kind of felt rushed because I needed a place to live soon. And I was like, maybe trying like the internship, seeing if this is like the right fit, or if I'm like just imagining the old camp and me, or if like this is actual fit where I know this is where I belong. Gotcha. And I like work well with the other missionaries. And so I actually, Jeff was supposed to go on a mission trip the next day. I texted him and I was like, hey, are you free to talk? And he's like, yeah, I leave at 2. If you can make it here by like 10 or 11, I can sit down with you and answer any of your questions. And we spent an hour talking, and he's like, do you want an application right now? Well, I just thought of this yesterday. I'm like, just give me a week or so. But yeah, like a week later, I was like, hey, can somebody send that to me?
Nice. Good deal.
You like how Jeff's with yeah, we'll come in and talk for an hour. You ready to uproot and change the trajectory of your life?
Yeah, I'm like, this is maybe an option for me. And he's like, you're doing this.
It may be an option for you, but not for me. So, oh man, good stuff.
So what's the application? Is it a long one? Is it a?
Yeah, it's pretty long. But it's worth doing, I think. And
we don't believe in short applications here at camp.
For nothing.
Have you noticed that?
Nothing.
If anybody out there has ever filled out a summer staff application, you know there's no such thing as an easy application here at camp. It's just
the
not.
application for camp is the first step of the interview.
It really is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you think that a piece of paper can't interview you, but it will grill you on everything.
It is, man. Hey, listen, and that's for good reason too, because you just can't waltz right in here, right? So
it's quite a bit of work.
I remember doing those every single year. I knew the questions they were asking, and every single year I'm like, they might not accept me. There was no reason, but
right.
Sorry, summer staff.
But it's worth it.
It is. It always is.
We do love you. That's why we ask you to fill them out.
Yep.
It's a very tough love.
Even the returning summer staff, it's still even more than what you would realize, you know. But it's not overwhelming by any means. But it's but it's good. It's always good, and it's good to know that we've got people working here who are here for the right reasons. So good.
So you got plugged in, doing internships.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going so far? We've only got a couple months down so far. So
it's been a lot of snow.
A lot of snow, man.
And rain.
Man, hasn't it though? Golly.
Snow, and then a small flood that
more snow.
And somebody told me the other day we're getting more at some point, but my goodness, you know what? If it kills out the Yellow Jackets, I say bring it on.
That's true.
I'm totally fine with it. They were horrible last year.
Did you finally heal up from last year?
Man, that was rough. That was rough. But I'm all right. I'm all right.
Steven went mowing in his yard last year, and
you know what?
Like many other stories, very similar. You went, I'm just going to mow, and then you were attacked.
Listen, mowing and cutting my lawn is therapeutic for me. I love it. I love doing it. It's fun. Not when I'm being absolutely destroyed by a band of murderous spawns of, you know what? They are what they are. They serve a purpose, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. I don't like Yellow Jackets.
A mean purpose.
It's a mean purpose. Proof of the fall right there. All right. So what would so
what kind of things are you getting plugged into? Or hoping to get plugged into, I guess. The things that because right now we're in that.
Just started, man.
We're
so far she's been shoveling snow.
We're in the planning. We're in the planning.
Stuck on my hill.
Stuck on the hill.
Got a 4-wheeler bundle up. Get on my 4-wheeler.
Lee,
my parents.
I'm kind of keeping track. I've laughed more this episode than in the past few episodes, so I'm enjoying this. Let's keep it going, man. Keep it rolling.
But to your question,
My question.
I did come early before I got started my internship, and I worked out with the outdoor ed program, and I got to teach and do the dramas. That was fun. Got the yellow jackets.
Yay! Yep.
Loving to see like that whole community, and then a lot of meetings right now because
Yes.
it's the slower time of the winter months.
It is planning season at Camp Nathanael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's getting ready to pick up like crazy around here, man.
Yes.
We've officially hit March. It's about to go nuts.
Yep. And the college retreat and the daddy-daughter meals. I worked in the kitchen for that one.
Nice.
It's fun working with Michelle. I'm excited to see more of all of the new stuff at camp.
So let's talk about this for a second. Obviously, in regards to the things that what are you most looking forward to as far as your time here as an intern at Camp Nathanael? Let me ask you this: Have you ever attended camp? This will be your first like summer camp as an intern, as technically on staff at camp, right? So that's going to be very different. From the way that you've experienced camp in the past.
Not being around the kids the whole time or the other summer staff.
Right, yeah. But yeah, like what maybe some things you're looking forward to most of all.
So I'm going to be the dining hall coordinator.
Oh, really? For summer camp?
For summer camp. And that was always my favorite job.
Really? Well, that's you know what? You're one of those weird classes of people where that's my favorite job. Because I never did it, but I know how stressful it can be.
It can be, but like you work in AC. You're not outside, so that's a perk.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And then you get to interact with the kids. Like
yeah, direct interaction.
I had so many where like one group, you ask for like how much they want refill, and every single time they would say 8, even though they just needed like one more chicken nugget or whatever. They'd be like 8. I'm like, I know it's not 8. You better tell me the truth.
I'm just finding out this news myself that you're going to be dining hall coordinator this summer, and I will say this: it makes perfect sense in my mind. I don't know how everybody else has thought about it because I've not had those discussions with anybody, but it makes perfect sense in my mind that someone who used to be summer staff, someone who used to be a mission kid, would do really, really well at that job. So, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
I think that'll be awesome. I think you'll do a good job. So, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Lots of fun there.
Has there ever been a food fight breakout in the dining hall?
Not that I know of, but
There's always going to be one at some point in there. So,
make another rule, maybe. No more food fights.
there you go. There wouldn't be a rule if it didn't happen. I mean, there you go.
That's how most of our rules at camp.
I know.
We don't make rules because we like rules. We make rules because we go, man, that was a disaster. Let's stop that from happening again.
That's the whole reason why warning labels are on anything, because you know somebody did that at one point. Wow. Okay. All right. We're getting ready to bring this one to a close here before too long. So
we'll go on and throw this out here because there may be some of our listeners who you may think, well, you might be in a similar stage to where you say, well, I'm graduating college, or hey, I'm in this in-between time and I'm interested in ministry, and maybe, I don't know, I kind of want to try it out. That's kind of the heart behind the idea of internship. Right. Is that it gives you a chance to be able to come in and go, I'm going to try it out for a season and see how it plays out. It kind of gives that there. So if you're interested in that, or maybe you know somebody who's in that stage of life, and you can share this podcast with them and they can learn a little bit more about what this looks like, at least for one of our interns. And you might say, oh, well, how do I apply for that? Mostly contact the office.
Yes, 606-251-3231 is the phone number if you want to get in touch with somebody that they can put you in direct contact with who you need to talk to about getting an application.
Probably Jeff McIntyre.
Probably.
If it's Jeff, then you're going to be an intern.
Here's your application.
He might hand you an application when you walk in.
You will call, say, can I speak to Mr. McIntyre? Oh, your application's already on the way. You just didn't know it.
Jeff does a good job, guys. He does
a great job.
He does his vetting.
He does, man. He's a recruiting machine. I'll tell you that right there. He does it well.
Knows how to read a person really, really well.
Yep.
And it's a very important skill for a director to have, to be able to read the room and to go, man, this person would be a really good fit.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that he can say at the end of a conversation, Ellie, so application?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, Ellie, hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's been. I'm serious when I say I've laughed more this episode than a few prior. No offense, Nathan Keeney, you were on the last one, but I have, man. I've laughed a lot today. It all started with Quasimodo, whatever it was,
whatever that word was.
This is what it's like at the cool table, ladies.
Like at the cool table.
The room where it happens.
There you go. There you go. Hey, we got some events to talk about. Lee's going to let us in on before we get out of here today, so check it out.
Yeah, so we've got actually quite a few. You said that when camp gets started, it just starts going and it doesn't really stop.
Get your calendars out, mark them up.
So in March here, guys, we have 3 overnights that are going to happen. That starts on a Friday afternoon and goes until Saturday. We have
It's got its own flyer.
It does have its own flyer. That's why I'm going to sit here and just read the flyer.
Way to go, man.
Helpful there. So if you have kids that are in 4th and 5th grade, we have a couple of weekends that you can come to camp and experience a condensed version of camp. I guess you could say that. We do our best to take everything that we take everything we do during the summer and we do our best to cram it into less than 24 hours.
Give you a little bit of a week of a camp week preview in just a one night stay here at camp.
So tons of food. We're singing songs. We've got some really great speakers that are going to be coming in and talking.
Lots of games, recreational activities. Man, it's a great night.
All the
it
camp
really
things.
is.
So if you got someone in 4th or kids in 4th and 5th grade, the first weekend is March 7th and 8th.
Yep.
The second weekend is March 14th and 15th. So that's 4th through 5th grade. Now, moving up a little bit, if you've got a kid that is in 6th through 8th grade, they probably don't want me calling them kids. But if you got a kid in 6th through 8th grade,
good old middle schoolers,
their weekend comes up on March 28th and 29th. So those are Friday evening going into Saturday. We've got some buses that are going to be traveling. You can get more info on where we're going to have buses in different surrounding counties to be able to come in and all that. All of that's on our website, campnathanael.org. And if you get on there, you go under the students tab. There's a weekend overnights. That's where you can sign up. If you're not already following us on Facebook, you probably should be, because that's where we're going to be posting a lot of this stuff too. The cost for the weekend is, let me look again,
$20.
Is $20, which, knowing some of these kids, they're going to eat way more than $20 worth of food. So
I'm sending my kids. You got it, man. So yeah, campnathanael.org/overnights is where you want to go to get more information on all of those events coming up in the month of March. And I've got one more event to throw out there that may not necessarily be on the camp calendar. I don't know if it is or not, because we organize this through First Baptist Church Hindman, but it takes place here on camp grounds, and that is Kickstart Soccer.
Gotcha.
And today's March 1st, which means registration is officially open. All right. It's officially open. You can go to hindmanfirstbaptist.com/kickstart right now and register your children who are going to be 3 years old by April 1st, all the way up to those who are currently in the 8th grade. It's $25 per household to register. I'm looking at Ellie because 6 kids growing up, a bunch of those
That's
siblings.
a steal right there.
That's a steal, right? And someone once asked me and said, why is it so cheap? I said, because when I started this, I had 5 kids playing and I wasn't going to pay $125 to myself. So I don't get the money. It all goes back into the program, but we want to make this as affordable and as enjoyable for families as possible. So that's Kickstart Soccer. Register now. HindmanFirstBaptist.com/Kickstart, and it's all going to take place right here on the campus of Camp Nathanael starting in April.
Yeah. So those are the big things coming up soon. We'll have more coming at you on the 15th.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Ellie, thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Lee. Stay
whatever that long word was again.
Quizzingly, or whatever that is. I don't know. Whatever that word. Yeah. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you back here on the 15th.